Hey guys, today we're tackling algebra. Now you're going to need this for your Australian Year 7 maths curriculum and everything beyond that because today's topic, algebra, is everywhere. Now to tackle algebra, we're going to have to go over 4 topics. What is algebra? What's an equation? What's a variable? And lastly, how do we solve an equation? Or do algebra for that matter. Now, algebra is just using math to show relationships between things. Say, for example, how much damage am I taking in the storm in Fortnite and how long can I live? You can use algebra to find that out or show that relationship. Or if I'm driving at a certain speed, how long is it going to take me to reach a certain location? Or if I keep saving money, how long is it going to take me to afford the thing that I want? Now, all of those questions involve algebra in some form. I'm sure you could work them out in your head, but to represent them here and to get it right in class and to get your A, you're going to need to use algebra. And when things get a little more complicated, you're going to want algebra. Now, what is an equation? So an equation, if you watch my previous video, you can see an equation is something like y equals mx plus b. It's one thing is equal to another and they're equal, they equate to one another. Now it can be something like this, which you can check out my linear relationships video to see more about this, or it can just be 8 plus 7 equals 15. That's still an equation, super simple, but it's just two things being equal. Now we can do a little bit of tricky thing here, and we can add 5 to both sides of this. So 5 plus 8 plus 7 equals 15 plus 5. Now, is it still an equation? Well, are these equal? Well, if we take 8 plus 7, which is 15, and we take 15 and we add 5 to each one, well, they're going to be equal. And in algebra, we're going to do a lot of tricks like this to figure stuff out. Now, before we start solving stuff, we're going to need to learn what a variable is. Now, a variable is a letter that we can write in math that can change value. So if I were to write 8 plus 2 equals x, now it's pretty obvious what x equals, but it's a variable. It can change. Now it's not really going to change in this equation, but we can rewrite x in another equation and x will be equal to something else. So it's a variable. Now not all variables are x. We can use any symbol we want that isn't a number to be shown as our variable. So I could even use an emoji. Let's say this smiley face is equal to 7 times 2 take 3. Well, smiley face is equal to 11. But we use some pretty simple ones like X, Y, H, Z, I, J, all those kinds of ones, because when you see it, you know it's a variable. Now, what is solving? Solving is when we don't quite have the answer yet. So here, we're going to write our classic x equals 8 plus 2. To solve this, what's 8 plus 2? X is equal to 10. Now, we know what x equals, and we've solved for x in this equation. Now, solving is when you're going to have your variable by itself on one side equal to a number, or as close as you can get to that. So let's try one where things are a little more complicated. Let's do x take 5 is equal to 15. Now, some of you smart kids out there can probably already figure out what x is in your head, but we're going to show you how to get an A by showing the teacher that you know how to do this and that you're not just cheating. So remember what I said here before, we want to have x by itself equal to something, but we got this pesky -5 or -5 on the left side of the equation here. So what can we do to get rid of that, or to get x by itself? How do you cancel a -5? Add 5. So we're going to add 5 to this side. And now guys, you got to remember it's an equation. Both sides are equal. If you add to one side, you got to add to the other side of the equation to balance it out. So we're going to have x take 5 plus 5 equals 15. And we're also adding the 5 to this side. Now, let's go through this line and see what happens. -5 plus 5, that's just going to be 0, so we're not going to write it. X is equal to 20. There you go. It's that simple. Unfortunately, it's not always going to be this simple. You're not just going to add or subtract something from the side. You can do all types of functions. You can have times, divide, powers, logs, roots. You can do some crazy stuff. But what matters is that what you do to one side, you do to the other to keep them equal. Otherwise, it's not an equation anymore. So for this example, let's say you've got a lemonade stand and you've got 5 cups of lemonade left to sell and you want to make $100 off it because you're a scammer. So let's try to figure out how much you need to sell each of those cups for to make your $100. Now, we know 100 is going to be equal to the amount of cups we sell. So cups, and we know we have 5 cups. So C5, you should always write the constant before the variable, but I messed up here. But now, how are we going to solve this? How are we going to get the C by itself? Now in the other example, we just added 5 to get rid of that -5. Now, how do you get rid of something that's multiplied by our C here? You can't minus 5 because C times 5 minus 5, it's not going to get rid of that 5 that's multiplied by the C, is it? Now we can think of our inverse of our multiplication and that will get rid of it. So what is the opposite of multiplication? Division. So let's try dividing both sides by 5 to get rid of this 5 here. Now 100 divided by 5 is equal to C5 divide 5. Now what happens when you divide anything by itself? Well, it's just equal to 1. So let's rewrite this out. That equals 20 equals C times 1. Anything times by 1, it's just itself, right? Let's get rid of that 1. Now we have C is equal to 20. That's pretty good, hey? We're going to have to sell each cup of lemonade for $20 to get $100 with our 5 cups of lemonade. Now that's pretty ridiculous and you're probably not going to be able to make that. So this is what you'll be doing for most of your math with algebra. You'll be solving equations, looking for our variable and trying to find it in terms of just some numbers or in terms of some other variables. And you'll be employing dirty little tricks like this, like dividing both sides by 5 or minusing from both sides or inversing both sides or putting both sides to the power to get rid of a square root. There's all kinds of tricks you can do. But for now, just stick to adding, minusing, subtracting, and dividing from both sides to figure out your answers. Now let's recap what we went over in this video. So algebra, what is it? It's being able to show relationships between things mathematically. Okay, remember this one? C times 5 is equal to 100. We have 5 cups and we want $100. So using this equation, we're able to boil it down and figure out how much each cup would have to sell for. What's an equation? Just something that's equal to another thing. Equate, equal. And what's a variable? Now remember, that's the letter that represents a number that can change because we're not quite sure about it yet. But then when we get down to here, the variable is equal to 20. C is equal to 20. You'll probably have A, B, X, Y. It can be any letter. It can be an emoji. It can be a picture if you really want. And then lastly, we came down to solving. Those were those tricks that we employed to come from this and then get a nice looking answer with our variable being equal to something. So you're going to stick to add, subtract, multiply, divide. There are other things you can do, but for year 7, this will get you all the way. So thanks for watching this video, guys. If you learned anything today, please leave me a like. If you want to learn something new, leave a comment asking me to teach you it. Otherwise, I do have a tutoring service. You can go to my page, check that link, and book a session. So thanks for watching. Bye.